The new Nigeria People's Party says its National Executive Council will meet on August 28 to take key decisions ahead of 2027 elections. The ruling party in Kano will review recent by-elections, deliberate on upcoming congresses and its national convention, and also discuss mass mobilization and new membership registration. Now, the NEC is also expected to address the ongoing constitutional review and outline the party's position on safeguarding democracy, while a public speculation continue over possible 2027 permutation. The NNPP maintains that its choices will be guided by core principles and evolving political realities. Let's also tell you that the Independent National Electoral Commission has fixed August 21st for a supplementary election in Kaura Namoda, South Constituency of Zamfara State. The state's resident electoral commissioner, Dr. Mahmuda Isa, disclosed the date at a stakeholders meeting in Gusau, assuring that preparations have been concluded for a smooth and credible process. The poll follows an inconclusive but a by-election earlier declared by the returning officer after the margin between the leading candidate fell short of the number of registered voters in cancelled polling units. INEC is urging political parties, security agents and stakeholders to cooperate for the success of the exercise. However, our focus tonight and bad governance pledge 10 months after Tinubu's promise youth confab still on hold. Also at some point we'll shift gears to talk about civil servants and politics, rights versus restriction. Welcome, I am Akpobi Elvis. Let's get the answers. The National Youth Conference promised by President Bola Tinubu in his Independence Day address on October 1st, 2024, scheduled for February 2025, is yet to hold. Now, the conference aims to address critical issues affecting Nigerian youth, such as unemployment, education, and political engagement. However, 10 months after the promise, the conference is yet to hold, sparking concerns amongst youth groups and activists. Now, joining me to discuss this is Adaramoye Michael. Is the national coordinator of the Youth Right Campaign. I also have as my guest Jamiu Julius Adebayo as a media strategist. Gentlemen, thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Thanks for having us.
Oh, all right, great. Let me start by asking you, and I'm talking to you, Adebayo. This particular youth conference, which of course has been in the talks for quite some time now, and was a promise made by the president after we saw a protest come up, and a part of the demands was that young people wanted to be part of the decision-making process. I mean, from your perspective, from your understanding, why do you think that as of now, I mean, this promise was made sometime last year, we are yet to see it in motion?
Okay, thanks for having me. And so taking it home from where you have actually asked, I can comfortably tell you that the president has fulfilled more than 80% of the pledge, all the pledges he made to the End Bad Governance protesters last year. All right, I said it with all emphasis. I say it with all integrity, that the president has been able to fulfill on these promises. So let's not just
sorry, I'm going to come in here and ask you. You said about how many percent? If I got you correctly, 70%. Is that what you said?
At least 80%. At least 80% of the promises the president made, he has been able to fulfill at least 80% of the promises he made last year.
Okay, I would like you to put them in bullet points, if you can, some of those promises that he has fulfilled.
Interesting. Before you brought in, so I was trying to analyze some of these things. So the president had very loud and clear the protest by Nigerians who actually wanted new, they want a paradigm shift, and the president ensured that in his nationwide broadcast that they made serious and cogent promises highlighting the youth confab as a whole or singly does not do justice to some of the things the president have done. And then when you talk about the youth confab, it's not the Fonset Origo of the promises. So first and foremost, they talked about cost of living. The president said, he was going to ensure that they expand the national education, the Nigerian Education Loan Fund, to accommodate more participants. Since then, we've had over 200,000 people that have been onboarded. Currently, the scheme has been able to onboard over 300,000 Nigerian students, enjoying student loan in different federal, state institutions across the country. All right? Now, taking it to the economic level, the president has been able to make bold on some of his promises around, ensuring that there's stability in the economy. And recently, just a few days ago, the DG, Director General of the World Trade Organization, was in Nigeria, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, and he asserted, an economist, a globally renowned economist, asserted that the Nigerian economy is now stable under this government. Before now, the exchange rate was hovering around 2,000, 2002, 1,009. It was extremely unstable. As of now, in the last 4 months, the exchange rate is currently stable around 1,500. Wow, some of the things these people talked about then, the young people in our country talked about then, was the high cost of living and some of these things. Now, the president said he was going to put in palliatives in place to ensure some of these things are cushioned. I mean, the effects. The CNG, that's the compressed natural gas initiative, has been upskilled till then. When you go around Abuja, go around Lagos, go around Abeokuta, Ibadan, Port Harcourt, Enugu, and some of these metropolises, you see many Nigerians who have actually converted their cars, their vehicles, either for transporting or for private use, to CNG. The availability of kits. The president also then, in his nationwide broadcast, said they were going to remove some of the encumbrances on the kits, the conversion kits, which he did. That allowed more people to onboard on the initiative.
All right, Jamiu, let me leave you. Let me leave you for a moment. Let me leave you for a moment.
Wait. Let me land on my thoughts.
Okay, please.
The president also said he was going to involve the young people of our country in decision making. Just a few days ago, the president appointed a 39-year-old man as the Director General of the Nigeria Electricity Regulation Commission. So they've moved away. The paradigm shift is moving away from being media aid or political aid to becoming decision takers, decision makers in our country. The president recently appointed another young Nigerian as the Director General of the Citizenship Relation Affair. All right, that's in person of the late MKO's daughter. All right, that's Risola Abiola.
All right, Jamiu, please hold on. Jamiu, hold on, because you're really trying to, of course, manage time. I'm going to come back to you to land on some of the points you're trying to establish. But let me bring in Adaramoye Michael. He's, of course, an activist and the national convener of course, it was also part of those that did protest during the End Bad Governance protest. It's great to have you, Michael. Let me just ask you straight up. Looking at the promises that Mr. President did make to young persons as a result of fallout of this protest, and some of the things that Jamiu said, what's your reaction?
Well, thank you very much. And I also appreciate Mr. Jamiu for trying to explain what he felt has changed within the last 10 to 11 months since we had the End Bad Governance protest. And of course, he tried to, list a lot of things that he felt the president had tried to do. And which for me, I think for many of these things are not really in line with the demands made by youth last year during the protest. And I would not want to take so much time because he had listed some things that I felt achievements, but in actual fact, are not, any achievements. And one of the key point of that is saying that the president had implemented over 80% of the promise he made to Nigerian youth. I think that itself is not factual, and it's also quite erroneous. And the reason why I'm saying this is that for many young people, not just myself, for many young people out there, if you ask them the clear question, that in the last 10 months or 11 months, has their life witnessed any significant change, the answer is going to be an overwhelming no for many young people. Because if you look at the trajectory of the nation since the last end-back governance protest and even till now, nothing has significantly changed. It did mention the student loan scheme that was implemented by the government. And of course, this scheme itself was not implemented after the end-back governance protest. It was even before the protest itself. But even at that, we need to even assess what is the success rate of that scheme, and what, in a way, you need to have a critical look at that scheme itself. And for us, during the end-back protest, one of the things we made clear to the government concerning education, particularly public education, is that the government itself needs to declare a state of emergency on public education, especially considering the state, the universities, the polytechnics and colleges are presently, and which has not really changed. For now, it has not really changed. And we feel that Nigeria itself is abundantly blessed enough.
Michael, sorry to interrupt you.
Access to education.
Michael, sorry to interrupt you, but to some extent also, in fairness to the current administration, some young persons will tell you that this seems to be the first, or maybe not the first, but since the commencement of the administration, these schools have not gone on strike, right? Students have been in school, in public universities. So for many, they would say, well, maybe that's a shift, a positive shift in the needle. What's your take?
Well, thank you. Which mean that I will have to continue from the point I was making earlier concerning public education, is that the crisis we had, even with the period of the past administrations, are still there. So that the fact that we've not had strike from ASU, from NASU or so, does not really mean that the issues that have been causing crisis in the previous years have been addressed. They've not been addressed. In fact, just about 2 weeks ago, the ASU president came on here to warn the government of an impending strike action by the union if the demands were not met. And these demands, when you look at the demands being made by ASU, they are demands of many years ago that have been neglected by not just this government, but even the previous ones. So which shows that the fact that you've not had strikes does not really mean that the government has given any attention or has really addressed the fundamental issues affecting the public education. No. Which also means that strike itself is looming. But to the point of the student loan scheme, we have said clearly during the last protest, is that this country itself is blessed enough to provide its citizens with access to quality education without turning them to debtors. And the other point about economic being stable, it is false, because during the protest, the demands we made to the government was that, right, okay, come on. You came on board, you made the exchange rate at around 400 naira. You came on board, you made the price of petroleum at around 197 naira. But just now, presently now, just as Mr. Jamiu had said, exchange rate is about 1,500 naira. Price of petroleum itself is about 900 naira, which shows that all of the talks about economic stability, it is only what has been stable has been the poverty of Nigerians. What has been stable has been the lack of access to food, lack of access to security and everything that citizens deserve. That is what has been stable in the recent period. That there has not been any positive change for many Nigerians.
All right, Michael, thank you so much. We'll definitely come back to this conversation, but we need to go on a quick break. When we return, we'll be, of course, bringing Elvis Akpobi, the Executive Director of Not Too Young to Lead Initiative, to join in the talks. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Many thanks for staying with us. It's still Politics HQ on New Central Television. Well, bringing into this conversation right now is Elvis Akpobi, the Executive Director of Not Too Young to Lead Initiative. He joins virtually. Thank you for your time, gentlemen. I still have Jamiu Julius Adebayo, is a media strategist, and Adaramoye Michael, the National Coordinator of Youth Rights Campaign. Let me come to you, Elvis. Let's look at the promises Mr. President did make as a result of the fallout of the End Bad Governance protest, particularly to young Nigerians. One of it, is the confab, the youth conference. While some youths are saying, that's a step in the right direction, it allows, our voice to be heard, it brings about inclusion in governance and policy decision-making and all of that. Some are even questioning if at all it's necessary. What's your take?
Democratic setting. So one of the hiccups we always have is we don't trust the people, a handful of people given the governance to contracted governance to whether our vote. And for us to make progress, we must build trust. And building trust, there must be engagement. So it's the right step in the right direction. What I've continually advocate and reiterated is that the people selected for this youth confab should be young people with proven track record of advocacy, and not people. I don't want this election process to be laced with politics or bias like we often have in most cases. Then I'm looking at post-confab, because this confab will be organized by the state, by the federal government, and most of the money that will be spent for this confab are taxpayers' money. So we don't want to go and waste taxpayers' money. We've seen, will the president implement the discussion of this confab, or is just a bit to distract us? And I trust and I believe the president, who was once an activist, who metamorphosed from being an activist to get to where he is, that he knows the energy and power of young people. He knows that our voice should count. So I'm looking forward to, again, implementing whatever conversation that confab will bring to the table, so we don't waste taxpayers' money as usual. Because we've seen cases where there were times we had a particular confab, so there's no implementation of such confab. So I want to give the president the benefit of the doubt that this youth confab will not just be a virtual posturing, it will be a confab where young people will look back and applaud him, that we are gradually seeing a democracy in play, and we have a president who is in sync with the voices of young people.
All right, thank you so much, Elvis. Let me come back to you, Jamiu. Jamiu, Michael did respond to some of the things you said. At the opening of your statement, you said the president has fulfilled about 80% of the promises he made to young Nigerians. You also went further to expand the conversation beyond the confab to touching the economy, cost of living, education, and the impact the current administration has made. Michael has addressed some of those issues. Maybe you want to counter. You might choose to, but where I'm going to with you is this. Let's look at this issue of confab and its relevance, particularly within the context of trust, right, by Nigerians, particularly the young demographic, and the confab itself. We know that it's stolen, but when we talk about the issue of trust here, how do you think that the current administration can boost the trust of young persons in it?
Trust is something that's extremely important to lay on the front burner. But then let me also make some emphasis. One, the youth confab is still in place, very much in place. Recently, the closed registration, I'm very much aware of that, the closed registration for participants. There are over 72,000 delegates that would participate in that youth confab from across the country and in the diaspora. So this will start from the zones, from the states, then up to the FCT in Abuja. So it's still very much in place, all right? I mean, you bringing up 72,000 Nigerian young people together under an umbrella to talk about the way forward It's going to take some time. It's going to take effort. It's going to, funds and some of energy and all that. And if you actually must speak to the integrity of those leading the advocacy. So you have people like Samson Itodo, you are of Yaga Africa, you have very young, vibrant Nigerians who have excelled in different fields and different capacities coming together. The president, inaugurated the committee. The fact that they've not been able to hold the youth confab does not speak to the lack of intention on the part of the government or the president. All right. So having said that, we must also clarify that, I was trying to make an effort to lay bare what the president has achieved in the areas of some of the contestations that we had leading to the end bad governance in terms of economy, education, security. So think, for instance, in terms of security has improved. Except, of course, we want to deceive ourselves. So recently, the United States government commended the Nigerian security forces for apprehending 2 wanted terrorists. I'm sure everyone has seen that. Recently, the president gave a marching order to the security forces to ensure that the insecurity issues in Benue are brought to the lowest minimum. All right,
Jamiu.
Having said some of these things,
okay,
we also need to understand the ripple effect of curtailing insecurity on agriculture, because we talk about economy, we talk about cost of living, we talk about the fact that life has not been easy.
All right, Jamiu, thank you so much. One thing you said in your analysis is that security has improved. I'll pick it up from there and throw it directly to, of course, Michael. Michael, Jamiu said that part of the achievements of the current administration is an improvement in security. Is that the case?
Can you come again?
Jamiu said that one of the pivotal achievements of the current administration is an improvement in security. Is that the case?
Well, thank you very much. I think that is in fact, it's also important, to also address that point, because security affects almost everyone. And just about a month ago, even the president himself was in Benue State, where over 20 persons were killed. And for the tragedy itself, it's not just that over 20 persons were killed. For the tragedy itself is the response of the government to that occurrence, that sad occurrence, is that despite after over a month, many of the affected persons are still displaced. Many of the affected persons are presently living in IDP camps with no hope of returning back to their former place. And even aside that itself, the question of killing is still happening even in that same part of the country, which itself shows clearly that the challenges around security has not really been addressed. And even where there have been issues of insecurity, the response by the government has very terrible, as very poor. So we don't really need anyone to tell us today that Nigeria is still one of the most insecure places to live in the world. Presently. I don't know where Mr. Jamiu is doing his own on statistics form, but today, in fact, presently, we cannot even check the news today without any news report of one killing somewhere or there too. And that's even become so bad that the NBS had a report that about 2.2 million Nigerians were kidnapped last year. For 2.2 million might not really be a big number in Nigeria, but for some countries, that's almost like as big as the population of many countries in Africa. So it shows that we've not really had any positive impact in the issue of insecurity. And it's still affecting the agricultural sector, which has been the most affected sector by that too. But
all right, Michael, thank you so much. Michael, I know you have a lot to say. I sincerely apologize, but I need to, of course, come in here. I'm coming to you, Elvis. Your final remark, particularly as regards the confab. Some are speculating, or there are speculations that maybe why it hasn't happened is it could be some sort of campaign gimmick, towards maybe the close of the election season, and then it will, sort of be an avenue to galvanize young people towards, a certain direction. I'd like you to speak on that. And there are also questions around the mode of selection. Elvis, the question is for you.
I think I've made this point.
Elvis, the question is for you.
I didn't get the question, please. Can you?
Okay, my question to you is this. As regards the confab itself, there's some I can hear you well. As regards the confab itself, some are speculating. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you very well.
All right. So, there are speculations that, maybe it's some sort of campaign ploy to galvanize young people to sort of vote, or, and pushing it towards maybe electioneering season. These are just mere speculation. And there are also concerns as regards the mode of selection. What's your take?
Yeah, for me, like I have always said, is the right step in the right direction. But I want to believe that the president doesn't want to distract us, or he doesn't. And like I said the other time, is the post-confab is key. And the selection process, I want to believe I've had some conversations with the working minister for youth, and he's someone that I feel is result-oriented and has so much credibility. One thing I want to appeal for is mostly every state. I'll use my state for example. I believe my governor, right on the governor of Delta State, who I feel is a transparent, and I know is a transparent governor, who select the right people that will speak on behalf of young Deltans. I don't want to believe that the process will be politicized, just like every youth gathering, so that in the long run, not think negative about if it's about we're trying to galvanize young people for elections. Let's look at the post-confab and let's give Mr. President the benefit of the doubt.
All right,
as far as this confab is concerned. So in the long run, we'll sit down as young people and we'll chart a course for Nigeria, because the future of Nigeria lies in our hands. And when the right people in the right spaces engage and talk about issues that affect them and how Nigeria will look like, I think at the Nigeria of their dream, I think we'll get it right with that.
All right, gentlemen, I'd like to say a big thank you for your time on the program. Elvis Akpobi is the Executive Director of Not Too Young to Lead Initiative. Jamiu Julius Adebayo is a media strategist, and Adaramoye Michael, National Coordinator of the Youth Rights Campaign. Once again, gentlemen, thank you for your time.